Testing 1, 2, 3. I think I am live right now. So let me see if I can find a link and send it to people so that they can be following me. Talking about YouTube, exploring YouTube analytics live now. Hopefully that should work. And don't know who's interested, but I'll be playing around with YouTube live analytics, YouTube analytics live now. Shameless self-promotion. Shameless. Let me just check over here. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to do this stream is because after my earlier stream, which was like a 2+ hour stream of me practicing a piece from Chrono Trigger, and then kind of just having a discussion with everyone about some stuff relating to YouTube, stuff relating to do video game music on YouTube, and just things in general. I noticed some interesting stuff going on with my analytics. So what you'll see here is my past 28 days, and you'll see that there's a spike here, which was the day that the stream finally hit my analytics, and that there was a strike, or what I wanted to say, there was a spike here in the average view duration, and even a spike a little bit in the estimated revenues. And you'll see even down here that there was a spike in comments. So comments went up tremendously. Like I got something like 300 plus comments, all just from doing the live stream, because what it does is YouTube counts every single comment that happens in the live stream as being a comment for sake of the analytics, even though now that you can see the live stream is archived, you can't actually see the live stream comments in the archive. So that's something that was kind of interesting. So I kind of wanted to go through a few things with analytics. There's some weird stuff going on with my analytics anyway, and so I wanted to actually practice a few things that I'd heard from the YouTube creator community, and also Creator Insider, Tom's latest video here is tips about YouTube analytics. So a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about today, coincidentally, Tom talked with some guy from YouTube on the analytics team, and they also mentioned some of the same things. So hopefully my video will get a lot more views than theirs. No, just kidding. As long as everyone's aware of that these things are possible. So I think I'm just going to get started, and hopefully people will just join in as I go along. And I'll just be periodically checking here for the live chat, but I mean, I'm going to be on other tabs mostly. So the basic thing was a few days ago, I guess, around a week ago, YouTube had an Ask Me Anything on watch time reports. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I know a little bit about watch time reports. And I asked a bunch of questions because I wanted to figure some things out. So one of the questions I asked them was, what are some features that the YouTube employees, when they're working with different creators, that they consistently see people aren't really utilizing as well? What kind of secret things would they recommend that people be doing? And so they said some good comparison metric that our team likes to use are watch time compared to videos published, comparing subscribed versus non-subscribed watch time, comparing time intervals, creating groups of different types of videos and comparing them, and creating groups of different playlists and comparing them. So I kind of went into my watch time here, and I was kind of like, okay, what would I do if I'm normally looking at watch time analytics? So if I come into my analytics and then just jump right into my watch time, you would normally see something like this, which is one line of the watch time per day. But you can see down below here that you can see watch time per video. But what you can do is you can do either a multi-line chart, or my favorite is a stacked area chart usually. And you can see it'll start by doing like the first 5, but you can just click this button and you'll see more videos. So you can see, for example, this day I had such a big spike because whichever this light lime green color video this is, which is the YouTube Chrono Trigger live sax practice and YouTube Q&A that I did on Saturday. So that makes sense that it picked up on the 19th and then it dropped off because that was the day that the live stream happened. And afterwards, not a lot of people were really watching this. You can see your spikes will usually correspond to, things that you're releasing. So the way that you can check that is in this more metrics. You go to more metrics again, and you can, normally it lets you go to videos published, but I think what I have to do is I have to go back to the single line chart, and then I can compare to more metrics to videos published. And what this will show you is that every time you have a publish, it'll show you how does that look like in comparison to what your watch time was that day. So typically, when you release a new video, you should see a spike in your watch time. Or like if you release a new video and it was late at night, then the next day you would see that spike in watch time. This one, I don't know what happened with these videos. It says I published 2 videos in the same day, yet watch time is like dipped below there. And then it doesn't really increase by that much. I think I had done like a silly video or something, and of course, not a lot of people are going to watch that. It's unfortunate that from here, as far as I can tell, you can't like drill down and see what were the videos that were released that day. So, I mean, when you drill down, it just says, oh, the stats for that day, but it doesn't really tell you anything else about that. So that's a little unfortunate, I think, but whatever. So let me go back by saying last 28 days. Now, one thing I would say if I just go back to this overview is I think that YouTube kind of cares about chunks in terms of how are you doing in terms of the last 7 days, how are you doing in terms of the last 28 days. So when it has this little green icon on here, or it can be red if it's down, I think that it's looking at your analytics growth over time. So I think that you want to kind of pay attention to saying, how can I increase my watch time versus the last 28 days so that this icon always stays green? How can I increase view duration, over the next 28 days so that stays green? I think that that's something that they care about, which is why they give it to us in that way. Let me just check over here in the live dashboard. I have 2 people watching, no commenters, but I'm sure that people will just comment as they go along. Let me see. Yep, I've already posted that in there, so no big deal. Okay, so this all is still pretty basic stuff. Before long, before like just a couple of days ago, I would have just looked at kind of this watch time, and I would have looked at, with the with the stacked area, I mean, and then I would have normally selected more videos because typically new videos that aren't, they won't appear in the default. So I would add that, and I'll just kind of look through here to see what's up and, know that, if there's a bit of area that's appearing, that's usually going to be a new like cover where it gets a lot of traffic from my subscribers here, and then it just, gets stuff. And I would just guess that as time goes on, that was traffic from non-subscribers, but that first initial boost was from subscribers. And then what I would do is I would check in the audience retention report, and I would check 2 things. I would check for the average view duration. So you can see here my view duration jumped up to 3 minutes because mainly, and you can do based off of multi-line as well to see based off of videos. So this is actually the first thing that's going to be very interesting. You will see occasionally that you'll have really big spikes in things like this. And what's happening is if you check this one is the purple is my Final Fantasy 15 Vals di Fantastica cover, you'll see that people watch for more than 100%. So someone either rewound to something or they watch a whole lot, basically. And so it really throws everything out of whack because YouTube takes that and says, oh, wow, someone watched more than 100%, and it makes that graph go up. If I do this in terms of percentage, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to see that someone watched this cover for 857% of the video. So this 110% means that over this entire period, this entire 28-day period, the average is 110 because as you can see here, it's 58, 37, 179, 71, 40, 59, 55, blah, 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 blah. And then up here, it jumps to 857. So the average of that 28-day period is 110%, but it still kind of just throws things out of whack. And you'll see that my average percentage viewed is 25%, which is pretty low, I think. I mean, it depends on the kind of content and the length of the content, but I feel like 25% for kind of a video game music channel is generally pretty low. But there's a explanation for that. What I would say is I do like multiple types of videos, right? So I do videos that are like the core video game covers, and so you can see like average for Valve Stay Fantastic is 110%. Let me jump past those next four. Here's one that's a really bad outlier, and this was really driving my number. Like it was just driving it horribly, and that's why I made the image of how am I doing so well at YouTube. My average percentage viewed plummeted down to 7%. But the explanation there is my Chrono Trigger live sax practice only has 4% watch time, or 4% average percentage viewed, because it's like a 3-hour video and people are only watching 5 minutes. My average view duration, again, that increased to 3 minutes, and it stayed even above my average, because overall, if people are watching 5 minutes, that's going to increase the average overall. But in terms of percentage, 5 minutes of 2.5 or 3 minutes or 3 hours, I mean, is not going to be that much. So my issue is I have shorter form content that's consistent, the video game music covers, and then I have longer form content that is not very consistent, but that still helps my watch time, but just because people are watching more minutes overall. So my data appears to be just garbage. Like my percentage seems to be around 30-25%, and then it's been dragged down because of this live stream. So what can I do about that? And I'll just say I do some videos about YouTube specific things, and people don't really like to watch a lot of those. Like there's 17 minutes of here, but the average view duration is 1 minute 58 seconds, which is still better than my average, so it helps. Or this how to live with the new 2017 YouTube notification bell. It's only 20% of the overall video, but that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so it's improving my watch time. But these kinds of videos just make my percentage plummet. So what can I really do to deal with that? And this is where one thing that YouTube keeps saying is create groups of different types of videos and compare them. And I was like, what is a group? Like, how do you do that? And so when you come up here to the top here, you can see this thing called groups. And you can browse groups if you already have them, or you can create groups. So what I've done is I've created 3 different groups. One is for all of my sax covers. The other is for YouTube meta, so whenever I'm talking about YouTube stuff. And then I've made a third one for just my live streams. And then what you can do is when you're searching for your content, normally you can search for videos and you can search for playlists, but then you can also decide to say, I want to just look for, the stats relating to one group. So if I just do my sax covers, then you see that my average percentage viewed is actually 55%, and that my average view duration is 1 minute 26, because what it does is it takes out the outliers in terms of the live streams and the YouTube specific ones. So that's something that you probably want to check out. So we have a first comment from Carlos, Insane in the Rain Music, looking at analytics. So I'm so excited to be sharing this, and I'm so excited you could join, man. So groups is the first thing. If you're creating lots of different types of content, then I would definitely check out these groups. And again, you can create a video group, you can add videos. The one thing I would say that's kind of annoying is that it doesn't show all of your videos here. So you can filter, you can scroll down, and sometimes it'll do this, never ending scroll, but sometimes it doesn't. So like if you, decide to click all or whatever, I don't even know if you can click all. There used to be a button where you could like click all and add them all at once, because I definitely did not click everything manually, but somehow I forgot how to do that. So I don't know if this is including all of my covers or if it's just including, most of them, but it made me happy to see that. So if I compare that, I can go out of that, and then I can look at like say YouTube live streams, and you're going to see that the number is very different. The average view duration is much higher than my other stuff because they're longer videos, but the average percentage viewed is around 5%. And you'll see that there's no data from before March 10th, because I only first started doing a live stream on March 11th. and you can see that spike here that's driving everything weird. And when you have a filter here, it carries forward to when you're going to say like watch time. So you can see that in terms of watch time, I got a lot of watch time here. And if I wanted to switch over, I could switch over to sax covers. And you will see that my watch time is, something like this. Now I think I can still do I can't do the videos publish when I have a filter here. That's a little annoying because I'd like to be able to see like when did I publish my covers versus when did I publish other things, but it's not a big loss. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to do. So the next thing that I want to talk about, let me just go back and check for comments. Oh, and you probably could do the group things, right? Yeah. So if you have a series that you do covers from, then you can also do a group for those. But what I would recommend is instead of just setting a group for all of those things, you probably already should be making playlists for all of that. So for example, if I'm let me look at this. My Pokemon Sun and Moon OST covers probably wouldn't be great for me because that includes videos that are not mine. Like I just pulled like a bunch of people's Pokemon Sun and Moon, but like say JRPG music sax covers, like that's all my videos. So that probably, oh no, it shows playlist though, so that's kind of annoying. I might want to do a group then instead of just having a playlist because can I do this? No, I can't do that. Because I don't want to just see playlist time. Oh, I mean, I guess that's right. It just shows if people watched the video as part of the playlist, so it shows playlist start. So that's not really as helpful as I thought. Yeah, you probably would want to do a group for different kinds of content. Then I agree with that. Then and then now it's in playlist view, which I really don't like. Let me switch back to videos. So let me just go back here. Yeah, so I agree. If you have a series that you do, you probably want to set a group for them, not just a playlist, because playlist kind of only shows you if they're watching as part of the playlist, which that can be helpful to you, but it may not be exactly what you want. Okay, so that's that. Now, the next thing I would do is I always pay attention to watch time and audience retention. I'm going to get back to that pretty soon, but then I look at demographics to see, for example, like, you know, gender, for example. Like everyone's like, ho, my videos are watched by like 90% men, but I always take pride that I have like a 22% like female watch time, fan base. So I always think like, what games are like ladies playing or something. I don't know. So and it'll tell you you can do by video, for example, and it will show you for a few of the videos and again this is by last 28 days. It'll say like, for example, Valsti Fantastica is extremely popular with the ladies. So I mean it might be I think it's because I like do the staring into soul into that thing, and that's like everyone just kind of like like that sort of thing. I'm sure that I'm gonna lose like 100% of my female fan base with this live stream now because they'll know that I'm a creeper or whatnot. And you'll see that my YouTube specific ones are not as strong there. But then what I could do is, again, I can come through here and say like for my meta content that's specifically about YouTube, it'll just show the videos that are applicable to that. And then I can still see that, I'm getting around 20% for the best one there. And I could just say, okay, let me just look at sax covers. And then that will show me only the videos that are with sax. Lily's theme is, I guess it's just all of you. I mean, I'm not going to make any assumptions, but it's just all of you people who like seeing little girls or something. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble. This is not advertiser friendly anymore. It's everyone likes it's raining somewhere else. Traditionally, my Undertale stuff, I found that like with niche kind of audiences, if I kind of extended this to be say last 365 days, then I'm gonna get a different number of videos for sure. But like Homestuck, Undertale, Homestuck, which these kind of niche fan bases I found has a much more I guess egalitarian demographic I have found. So that may be something you want to look into. Let me just go ahead and check here. Yeah, the JRPG playlist is basically all of the covers that I do that fit into JRPGs. I don't know if it automatically updates for the new one, so I might have to do things like that. So Carlos mentions, I've heard mixed feedback about the importance of audience retention percentage versus watch time. It's true that watch time is absolutely more important than audience retention percentage. So doing a longer video and getting more minutes, even though you have a retention dip, that still helps you out. Now, what YouTube will say though is that there are some factors in terms of watch time that they don't give us immediate access to. So, for example, session watch time is more important than like individual watch time, for example. So, if you have a really long video and someone watches more watch time out of it, but it's like overall less percentage, and then they leave YouTube after, they're like, oh, I'm so disgusted with this video that I'm going to leave YouTube, that ends the session. And then you might be thinking because your analytics shows that you had more watch time, that you're doing a good thing, but that session watch time that you missed out, that could hurt you. Whereas if you have these smaller videos, but they tend to go from one smaller video to another smaller video, another smaller video, YouTube doesn't show you that session watch time, and there's no way to tell that. And trust me, in the Ask Me Anything here on this watch time report, I asked them, I said, if session watch time is so important, then is there a way to measure this? And they said, nope, there's no way to watch time sessions. Instead, I would focus on features that contribute to increasing the watch time session, like cards and end screens, and check the corresponding reports to see how well they are working. Check out this Creator Academy lesson, Let the Cards Do the Work, to see how to effectively use these features. Now, here's one thing I would say. If you aren't already aware about the YouTube creator community, www.youtube-creatorcommunity.com, you do need 100 subscribers or more to be able to comment on there. But the one thing I really like about this is they have an events lounge. And anytime YouTube frequently does Ask Us Anything's AMAs with their partner managers from their content partnerships. So the big YouTubers get to talk with someone from YouTube saying, this is what you need to do to grow your channel, blah, 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 blah. And us little YouTubers, like, we don't get anything. But those same people who would be the partner managers, they go onto this forum and they have AMAs. So, I try to collect questions from the various VGM communities to try to ask about these things, and then I try to think about the answers. So that's why I have some of these answers, because this was from their AMA on watch time analytics. So let me just go back here. No more questions so far, so I'm going to kind of keep going. Now, they said, keep in mind, they said in their answer, increase your watch time session with things like cards and end screen. Now, I kind of pointed out that according to my traffic sources, in screens and video cards, mine need a lot of work because they're at the bottom of my traffic sources. So that is the next place I would go in my analytics. I would go to this traffic sources and I would just kind of see all of these things. So I'm going to explain each of these for you. Pay attention to how in screens and video cards and annotations are all the way at the bottom. They are providing me less than 1%. It's like 0.2% of my watch time. So from my perspective, I either need to, I don't do the best on cards, so I understand why that's at the bottom. But in screens, I've been doing all my new videos, and they're not doing that great. And even when they're there, they get lower watch time than typical. So maybe that just means I need to work on that. But here's what I look at this for. So if you go into here, you can go into each of these things and you can see like what is driving this. Now they have this weird thing where they show YouTube search in terms of watch time instead of views. So you get this weird stacked chart because, like, say one person searched for Sunset Waltz Jazz and listened to it for 4 freaking hours. Like, who does that? I'm super happy that they're doing that because it's making my graph for watch time, like, it's making everything go crazy. But like, this really doesn't show me the broad trends of what's leading to my content. This is just showing me that there's one person who is really, really interested. And then this other person, FFXV Sax, like, that's one person who is very, very interested in my sax covers. And I'm like, whoever you are, like, please reach out to me because I want to like give you a high five or something. But that's not, I usually like to switch to this views mode. So it starts here by doing in terms of what led to the most watch time. But if you switch over to this views, you can probably see something like more generalizable trends. So here you can see Valsti Fantastica cover and Valsti Fantastica are very high. It's Raining Somewhere Else jazz is still leading to a lot of popularity for me. And, I want Carlos to tell me how many people are clicking onto your video, and then how many people am I getting the table scraps from? Because I'm sure that they're like, this is what I wanted to listen to, but I'm just getting like, the table scraps here. So again, props to you, because I appreciate anything I can get. But then apart from this, like, one thing I would say, guys, is SEO is important, but one thing I've learned in the past is you have to like go where the traffic is. You have to go where things that people are actually searching for. So, I can be ranking for Chrono Trigger or whatever, but people aren't going to be. I mean, I don't know if people are searching for Chrono Trigger. I do know, based off of all of this, that people are still searching for like Homestuck, even though that comic has been over for around a year. Homestuck cover, Homestuck saxophone. People are still searching for It's Raining Somewhere Else. People are still searching for Undertale. People are still searching like for mainstream music like Tame Impala. Even when they want It's Raining Somewhere Else on a violin, they still click and listen to my sax version. Carcat is a Homestuck character, so that's more Homestuck jazz. Little do they know I don't actually do jazz. Steven Universe, but that gets me some pretty bad watch time. And I mean, here, the views aren't that great. So like 25 people clicked my video and watched for Velocity Fantastica. But I mean, that still, gives me good trends. So that's something I would definitely advise doing. So YouTube search is usually a good representation of how your SEO is working. Because if you can get on that first page of YouTube search, that's usually a sign in the beginning of the video's life of how well your tags, titles, and descriptions were really tailored around those keywords. And then as time progresses, YouTube says, we're going to stop relying as much on those metadata points, and we're going to rely more on this watch time. So I'm sure that Carlos could put whatever he wanted in the tags, title, and description here, but, it would still rank high because he's got a cajillion views, right? Oh no, now it's going to take me there. No, I don't want to give him any traffic. Sorry, Carlos, you just got like 1 second of watch time. No, I don't think it counts under like 10 seconds or something. So, let's see. Now, I do want to go through some of these other things. So Carlos says the almighty browse features, and I feel like that should be like where we're aiming for. So we have a few more people. SEO class with Andrew. Yes, I appreciate that. So the search is really about your SEO, and I would say suggested videos is also about SEO. So in an SEO kind of setting, they say you should go for long tail keywords because you're more likely to rank for a longer tail keyword in search than you are elsewhere. But they also, I think, you should have a few short tail keywords. Like I'm not going to rank for Undertale, just that word, but I might rank for Undertale sax cover. But if I do just Undertale, then what that does is any other video that has Undertale that I'm competing with, I have a chance of being in that, right sidebar as suggested videos. And then also I would say there should be some tags in your videos that you don't expect people to search for. Like I don't expect for people to search for my name, Subversive Asset. But by doing that, YouTube associates my videos with my other videos. So you'll see in the suggested videos that, in fact, my suggested videos are typically coming from other videos that I've done. Because what happens is either if people were going from video to video, this is probably because there's like a series playlist, I think, but it's going to show it as suggested videos anyway. Even here, this is someone else's Velocity Fantastica cover. But because I think that, we have similar tags, it's going to take them from them to me. And I suspect that Carlos is like, it's probably going to be on like page 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have a lot of traffic, but he's going to see some of my covers being in suggested videos for his, because I swear, like if you let me just do this. Let me go to Lily's theme and see. I actually don't think it's going to show. Oh, I don't want to do that. It's just going to take me to the analytics page. Let's scratch that. I want it to, dang it. I wanted to do, what I want to do is, I don't think Lily's theme is as optimized there. I want to do, Melee City, I think. So let me figure out where that one is. Yeah, this is the one I want. Oh, no. So see, that's saying I get from the extended version. This is not even my video. From the extended version on the OST, I do get some traffic from Melee City. Let me just do this. I'm gonna go to my videos, but I'm serious, guys. Like, if you go to my videos, like, you will find that if you're listening to like my video on Pokemon, it'll just take you to all of Carlos's videos, and it's amazing because session watch time is amazing. I can't see the effect of it, but I know that it's helping me out. So let me Melee City at night. This is going to take me to the edit page, isn't it? Yep, it is. They recently changed a thing in your video edit screen where if you click on the link there, it'll take you to your edit page, but you have to click on the thumbnail to take you directly to the video. So if I, let me just click on the thumbnail and it's actually going to take me to the video. I'm not going to actually play it for you, although you should be listening to it. But check out this up next. It'll take me to Carlos. And then the next one will be another one from Carlos. And then the next one will be another one from Carlos. And you can just watch his entire Pokemon and Sun and Moon. Like, you don't even, Alola That Jazz, you can just watch it from YouTube from here. If you want to listen to Carlos's Alola That Jazz, start with my Melee City, and then it'll take you to every video. That's how you do it. That's the best way. Do you organize any of your sax covers using series playlists? I typically do, but I also am not consistent enough with releasing covers from the same game to feel comfortable with putting them all in the same place. Catching people during working hours. I don't know what time zone it is, but it is definitely 10:30 p.m. Central Time Zone. So that is kind of interesting that you're still working. I mean, I've definitely had those late nights too. So I'm sure that in your time zone it makes sense. Hopefully you're not working at 10:30 p.m. at night. So I'll get back into the analytics. So let me get back. So just to recap. Search and suggested videos typically are a reflection of how well you're doing in your SEO metadata. And so if you're doing really well at metadata, then I would expect that you get a lot of this. Now, Browse Features has kind of two major components, and I'm just going to click into it. And one of them is kind of like what you'd expect, and the other one is kind of like whatever. Like it's a I guess one of them is what you would expect, whatever, and the other one is like OMG amazing. So the one that's what you'd expect amazing is subscriptions. You should expect that when a new video hits, that your subscriptions browse feature jumps up, and then that should happen every time you release a video. But here's the one that you really want to get into, homepage. And this is homepage both on mobile, homepage on desktop. Because what that does is YouTube is like, even if they're not your subscriber, what kind of videos would random people on YouTube like to see or hear? And if you can get on homepage, that can really drive things up. I just have a kind of a loose kind of undercurrent of homepage stuff, and I think it's because whenever I do videos on YouTube, kind of drama stuff, like people have been complaining about the YouTube notification bell. So that still gets on people's homepages because that's something that people are still commenting about, still very upset about. I don't think there's anything we can do about it, but that's something that people are definitely still thinking about. So that's why I still do those videos, even though it's not really part of my niche, because it doesn't really fit with my brand, other than the fact that I want my brand to be like helping people. So I need to make a clever catchphrase for that. Subversive asset, the asset you never knew you wanted. I don't know. So back here, then you have kind of playlists, which is kind of like your playlist or other playlists. So if you come in here, I think there's going to be some weird this like Undertale orchestral soundtrack. Like that's not my playlist, but someone thought that my music was like orchestral or whatever, and they included one of my tracks there. So and then liked videos, like that's anyone's liked video. So it's kind of like that doesn't really tell you much. Undertale the musical, that's my own playlist. So people are watching some of my videos from there. Sax covers of Pokemon music, that should be my playlist. Temporary playlist, that's just a YouTube catch-all. Sleep, I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's getting me decent watch time duration, so people aren't clicking out because they're sleeping, I guess. Rashad B's cover contest entries, people are apparently still watching covers from that. Any day now, I'm sure that the winners will be announced, and I'll be like, not a winner, but whatever. So let me just check out here. Hashtag sorry. No, don't apologize. I need all that traffic. I need all that session and watch time. Okay, so back here, and you can kind of increase this, but I'm just like 33% from search, 19% from suggested videos, 16% for browse videos, and then it kind of just decreases from there. Now, the next thing that I want to go into devices. I don't really check this all that much because I know for me that my devices are overwhelmingly computer. Now, the thing that I want to check this for is because YouTube keeps emphasizing that that YouTube is going mobile, that YouTube is, 60% of watch time comes from mobile. My issue is I just am not getting that. Like mobile is only 30% of my watch time. So when they say that we're getting rid of annotations because most of the watch time is on mobile. I'm like, where is that happening for me? Because consistently, computer is just wrecking everything else for me. So maybe my content isn't mobile friendly or something like that because it's just kind of ridiculous. And then recently they have the YouTube live streaming, and you can see on a live stream basis the traffic for that. And then you can see engagement reports, but I don't think I want to get into engagement reports. I just want to focus on watch time. So far we have covered kind of the basics of using the analytics, but I would not be comfortable giving you I would not be comfortable giving you a live stream if this was all I was going to show you, because you could have figured this out for yourself. So now we need to get into the absolute magic. So when you come up here, you will see that you can look at things like subscribed and not subscribed. Like this is the total subscribed and not subscribed. You can look at things like live and on demand. So how are your live, videos doing versus how your on demand videos? All YouTube products. So how many people are watching from YouTube Kids, YouTube Gaming, that sort of thing. All devices versus, picking certain devices, and original language versus translated. And then even here, you can say like, I might care about watch time for videos. I might care about it for geography. So I know, for example, I expect that the United States is going to be like a lot, but Japan is number 2. So maybe I should think about, blackmailing Stephen Morris into doing free translations for me, because he's definitely someone who would probably have some skeletons in the closet that could be blackmailed over. I don't know. Stephen Morris is really a great guy. Don't try to blackmail him or anything, but he definitely does translation stuff for a day job, so don't ask him to do it for free either. Value people's time and effort. You see, when you do things for exposure, you just die cold and, frozen. And then France, I mean, I have an idea of where my French traffic is. I think that Lord Biff music is just, watching all my covers secretly every day, and that's causing that. But you can kind of see based off of this whether you might want to think about doing translations. But even here, I'd be like, this is not, crazy. Like you may not know about this more, that you can do subscription status. So you can see that, for example, 73% of my watch time is from not subscribed, 27% is from subscribed, and I can break that out into lines. So you can see the red line is subscribed, the purple line is not subscribed. So YouTube always says, or everyone's always like, oh, I need to get more subscribers, blah, 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 blah. And YouTube says like, there's like YouTube has analytic reasons for why you want subscribers. You want subscribers so that they know to check reliably, so you can get that view velocity when that video is originally released. And they also say that subscribers watch more than your non-subscribers do. So for example, my subscribers watch 3 minutes of my content versus my non-subscribers who only watch 1 minute. So that's a good thing. If people can subscribe, that's a good thing. But I'm guessing that for you, as it is for me, you're going to get a lot more traffic from people who are not your subscribers. So that's something you definitely want to think about. And if I go into audience retention, I should be able to do similar things. I should be able to look at subscription status for audience retention, and then do the multi-line to show you that check. Now, this is the one thing that I found that was interesting when I wanted to do some analysis. So you know how I said that you will find that there's that one person who watched your video for like hours and hours upon end. Well, I was thinking that was just some person who searched in search, because you can see that in search traffic, there's one person who on this day searched for Final Fantasy XV cover and then watched for like ever. But if you check this out and you check subscriber versus non-subscriber, you will see that on this day, March 8th, I got that 40 minutes from subscribers. Now, what I would need to do is I would need to look at videos and I would need to do a bit more splicing and dicing to figure things out. And I would kind of want to look at audience retention. But you see, oh my gosh, on that same day, the 14, the 1,400% viewer was not just some random person. It's one of the people who's actually subscribed to me. So again, if you're that person who watched the video and you just put it on repeat, please let me know so I can give you a shout out. I don't know who you are. YouTube doesn't give me that. Hi Charles. Thanks for dropping in. There's definitely going to be an archive of this so like everyone can watch like afterwards on their own time. So that'll be really great. Thanks for dropping in. Oma, I agree. I prefer to watch covers on the computer for the better quality. And I'm going to actually show you something that's very interesting because I believe I have a good understanding of my subscriber base. It's mostly other YouTube video game music creators. So I'm going to start showing you some things that you can do when you compare subscriber versus non-subscriber to see about how that affects various things like your traffic sources. So currently what I've done is I've gone into this section on each of these charts and I've done subscription status. But what if I want to do like other splicing and dicing? Well, the issue is YouTube is very finicky about how you can do that. So this might not be the best way for me to do that. So I'm going to, like, if I wanted to do videos and then also do subscriber versus non-subscriber, YouTube's going to kind of have issues with that. So here's where we get into comparisons. Remember on the Ask Me Anything, they said comparing subscribed versus non-subscribed. So here's what they mean by that. If you come into this comparison, it now splits your filter into two. Ooh. And then what you can do is you can say subscribed here, and you can go to not subscribed here. And all of a sudden, now everything is broken out into two. So these are things you already saw from my other report, but now it's showing you kind of subscribed here, non-subscribed. Subscribed, it averages out to be 100% because of that one person that watched like a cajillion hours of Valsti Fantastica. And we can see that this was a subscriber. It shows up in the subscriber. It shows me the specific video that happened on, and I can see that. I can see that even for the next 4 top videos that I'm generally getting more watch time, except for watching me try to learn Lily's theme. That's still, in terms of percentage, it's still low, but if I go to average view duration, it's still going to pick up. It's going to pick up a bit, right? And we see for not subscribed, like we don't see that. Like we don't see that huge average percentage viewed. Like they're not putting my videos on like auto repeat. It's subscribers that are doing that. So thanks again for people who are doing that. And then when you come down here, it will show the top videos for subscribers versus the top videos for non-subscribers. So within my Sax covers, Valsti Fantastica is a fan favorite for both subscribers in blue and non-subscribers in orange. But the second most popular for subscribers is Lily's theme, which has an 83% retention percentage and has, this is actually kind of interesting. Remember what I said when you're looking at these numbers, my non-subscribers contribute much more watch time overall. So this 466 is lower than this 573, but in terms of like ranking the videos, it's the second highest for subscribers. But you can see that Pokemon Sun and Moon is not my second most popular video from non-subscribers because I think that there are still a lot of people searching for Undertale, a big Undertale fan base who may not be subscribed to you, but they're still searching for that content. And so those people are still watching It's Raining Somewhere Else. And again, this is just the last 28 days. So this is not including anything from before the last 28 days. Watching subversiveasset trying to learn Lily's theme, that was very popular with subscribers. But then again, Homestuck, which is a niche kind of fan-based kind of content, that is more popular with my non-subscribers. So kind of jumping in, if someone has a ton of watch time on an instrumental cover video, it means they're trying to learn to play the song with the video. If someone wants to learn my songs, I will reach out to me and I will start posting the sheet music more or something like that. It won't be pretty, But if that will help you and you'll just watch along and rewind and all that kind of stuff, I will do that. Thanks for joining Tuba Hero. This looks like a new name for you, actually. Tuba Hero Gaming instead of Tuba Hero 37. So maybe it's like an alternate account or something. I'll have to check that out later on today to see if I need to subscribe to another channel. Okay. So this is for the audience retention graph, and you can also show it with the line, but I don't like it as much because it just shows you the same thing you could have gotten if you had done this on the other page. So I don't like that as much. But we can come over to watch time and we can start to see a few other things as well. So it's still loading. It's going to show me kind of what I already knew here. That Vals de Fantastica gets like a whole lot of watch time because one person decided to watch it a lot. But it's going to show me that overall, in terms of watch time, the top 5 videos, like these guys from non-subscribers, they're competing because I just get so much more watch time from non-subscribers in general, right? But check this out. So I get 666 views from subscribers that are generating 2,000 minutes of watch time. To get 5,000 minutes of watch time, I need to have 4,500 views. So that's because some people who are just finding me in search, they click in and then immediately click out. So they're not really engaged. So that's something that's useful for me to know. Now let me do something like this. So then, you know, that's videos. Like, what if I want to know how does my geography look in terms of who is subscribed versus who's not subscribed? So as I said before, I thought that perhaps my French content was Lord Biff Music and, you know, Lord Biff Music just watching all of my stuff. But as it turns out, I'm getting more watch time from non-subscribers here than I am from subscribers. So that's I mean, unless Lord Biff Music isn't subscribed to me, which shame on him if he's not. But that's just something that's interesting. And of course, you would expect that since there's more watch time for non-subscribers anyway, that the United States would get that too. So let me just jump back here. Oh yeah. So you re-signed into your other account. That's cool. I would love to see the audience retention graph on a music tutorial video. Well, I would love to be good enough to be able to give music tutorials. Yeah, that would be very interesting to see. I think at some point I do want to talk about audience retention a little bit because actually I don't want to talk about it. My retention sucks. No, sorry. My retention is, I'm still trying to get better at it. And I feel like it's a thing where I need to work on like arrangements and stuff like that to get people watching the whole thing instead of like dropping off. So generally, like Ireland, I have a bit more subscribers than not. Austria, I have a bit more than not. Mexico, definitely more non-subscribers. And then what I can do here is, this is one where I found out some very interesting things. By switching to device type, it's kind of like our devices, but I'm looking at it from a watch time perspective instead of from looking at it in a device perspective. So the interesting thing is, first of all, if we look at it in terms of absolute numbers, this should not really be a surprise because, again, I have more overall non-subscribers watching my content than I have subscribers. Sorry. But what's interesting to me, if we look at these percentages, if I look at my subscribers who I suspect are other video game music creators who probably agree like with what was said in the chat that they watch from their desktop because they prefer to watch covers on the desktop for better audio quality. Like, I would totally agree with that. And if it's true that my subscribers are mostly this, people who are other video game music cover creators, then that would be consistent that a full 80% of my subscribers are watching from the desktop. And then only 17% are watching from mobile, and then 3%, like less than 1% for anything else. So when we think about non-subscribers, though, it's still a majority is watching from computer. So I don't know how YouTube is getting that 60% watch time comes from mobile, because I still have a majority coming from the desktop. But it's a lot more watching on mobile who's not subscribed than who are subscribed. So that may be something you want to think about, like all the annotations that a lot of people may be using. Definitely check to see how does your how do your analytics look like from your subscribers' point of view versus how do your analytics look from your non-subscribers? Because if you have like all your non-subscribers are watching on phone, they're not seeing those annotations, right? Because annotations only show on desktop. But for me, a majority watch on both um, desktop and mobile. Now, if we look at by views, for example, I'm pretty sure that we're going to get a similar result still. Again, yes, 62% and 48%, slightly less. It's still a plurality that are watching from the computer on for non-subscribers, but there's more people who are at least viewing from mobile. So what that suggests to me is that, and especially by looking on this average view duration of 59 seconds, which is much lower than the 1 minute 24, is that there may be something about my mobile content, my content from when people are watching from a phone, that it turns them kind of away from it so that they're not watching as much in terms of watch minutes. That's just a suspicion that I would need to do more information on. And so let me see. I think that's all I wanted to do there. If I go to demographics, though, let me show you this. This is going to be very interesting. If I do demographics by, I don't really care about age, by gender, then what we will find is my, I was thinking, oh, the subscriber base of females, of women, is mostly because of people from the various communities like Homestuck or Undertale who may be just going by and visiting my channel but may not be subscribing. Well, in fact, my female fan base is mostly subscribed. So it's people who may have found my Homestuck content and my Undertale content, liked it so much and subscribed. So I probably need to release more of that kind of stuff for them to keep them interested in things going forward. So that was something that was kind of interesting to me. And you can see this on a per video basis. I'm pretty, no, it doesn't really show you well, it does still show you the split between male and female. So for example, I mean, this doesn't show apples and apples because it does comparison by rank. So, in terms of my subscribers, a lot of men were watching Pokemon Sun and Moon Lily's theme, but a lot of non-subscribed women were watching It's Raining Somewhere Else, and for some reason not subscribing. So maybe I might need to fix that. A few interesting things that if you look at in this traffic sources, that's where I want to go to next. What you'll see, for example, is that, as I mentioned, YouTube search and suggested videos are typically about SEO. So it's typically about people who are finding you from outside of your subscriber base. And so what you would expect is that your YouTube search would be mostly non-subscribers, that the people who are looking at you and finding you out for the first time from a search result are going to be people who are not subscribed to you. And that's what you'd see. Search is overwhelmingly where my non-subscribers are finding me. And you would expect from YouTube channels, like someone going on your channel and looking at your video, that it would be generally more from your subscribers. And that's what we see as well. Now, the thing that's interesting is this browse features. And here we're going to want to dive deeper because, as I mentioned, there are two browse features that you see a lot of stuff on. So we're seeing a little bit more in non-subscribed, but a lot coming from subscribed as well. And so that should become very clear why there's that divide when we dive deeper into browse features. So if I dive deeper, you will see subscriptions only has one line. You have to be a subscriber to get my stuff in your subscriptions. That's just how it works. So that's something you would expect, that 100% of your subscriptions, traffic, and browse features would come from people who are actually subscribed to you. And then what you see is that this is why home is so very important, because yes, a lot of my people who are subscribed, like even slightly more of them, are seeing it from their home tab versus their subscription tab. So when people were complaining about not getting notified about content, I think that what was happening is they were treating their home tab as if it was their subscriptions tab. And so they were seeing, oh, I'm not getting every video on my home tab. Like, what's going on, YouTube? And YouTube's like, no, you need to go to your subscriptions tab. But The real power of the home tab is that you can really pick up a lot of non-subscribers through the home tabs. That's just something I wanted to point out. What's interesting to me is that a lot of my non-subscribers are finding me through their watch history. So they're watching a little bit of me and then they're going back later. So that's something that I found that was kind of interesting. Let me jump back here to see if there are any interesting comments. How is watch time calculated if you go into a previous section without reloading the video? Is it cumulative? How does it affect percentage? So I'm actually going to, thanks Joe for joining. Please definitely go to your 3 p.m. class. The archive will definitely be up later. But for piano game night, how is watch time calculated if you go to a previous section of the video without reloading the page? Is it cumulative? How does it affect your percentage? So that's actually interesting. When you look at the audience retention on an overall basis, it's just going to kind of show you an overall line, right? But if you dive into a particular video, like let me do this for I guess subscribers, hopefully that'll help. Where you're going to see it, dang it, let me break out of comparison mode. So dang it, this is not good because this one guy watched the entire thing over and over. So this was a bad choice. Let me go to a different video that is like not. Let me go to a different video that doesn't have over 100% retention. Let me go to 83% is also too high. Let me go through. Oh, this is going to be perfect. This is going to be perfect. Let me do one of the ones where I was telling people how to do something and I gave them a timestamp for how they can fix it. Not this one. Where was it? Let me find it. Oh, I know why. It's not a. I don't have any covers anymore. Let me do YouTube Meta. And then how to get your old notification bell back. So what I did in this video was I had a timestamp for what is that? That's so weird. Let me do this last 90 days. And then let me do I guess I don't know. This is not good. I don't like this. So let me show you a few things. So whenever you see these things where it jumps up a little bit, or like here it jumped up from 7% to 13%, what that's either a sign of is people are just skipping around through the video, or they are rewatching that part. So if you see people rewatching a certain percentage of your video, you'll see what it looks like is in that specific video's watch time. It'll just pick up in that little area, and the average watch time, it will note that. So like, for example, if it say people watch this part of the video so often that it went up to like 120%, it's still going to look at how this percentage is really low and this percentage is really low, but it's going to pick up this one area and it's going to like average that with the rest of these things. But I believe that what's going to happen is if I jump over here, this is when I talked about how to do it in Google Chrome. No, this was how I did it in Internet Explorer, I guess, or Internet Explorer Edge. So a lot of people were interested in that there. So I kind of had a timestamp at some point saying, go to this part of the video if you're interested in Firefox, and go to this part of the video if you're interested in Chrome. And I think that's what we're seeing there. Yeah, that's the thing. That's how you would see it if people are going to a previous section of the video. But what I wanted to kind of talk about here is YouTube's always like, you need to always pay attention to how the general curve looks. So this video has a really bad curve from YouTube's perspective, because if you look at it, YouTube says that if you drop like 30% within the first 15 seconds, then that's bad. Whereas here it drops like 36% within the first 15 seconds. So that YouTube would say that typically what that means is that what you said you were going to do in the thumbnail and what people expected based off of the thumbnail and the title, you didn't actually get through, in that you didn't get to that top, you didn't get to what they were looking for, and so they left. So for example, if you have a long intro, like a lot of these gamers, they do these crazy long intros, then you'll typically see a lot of people skipping that, right? because that's obnoxious and that's not what people wanted. Or if you have clickbait, then people click in because of the thumbnail, but they'll realize that the video isn't actually, satisfying. So then they'll leave that. So let me see what happens at the beginning of this video. So the first thing is all the fixes got broken. So most of my traffic for the past like couple of months has been people complaining, oh, this doesn't actually fix anything. So I can understand that they don't want to actually pay attention to the entire video. And so here, what you can see is if this is effective, then I would expect that there's a huge plummet and then that people kind of jump based off of where their browser is to where they want to go. So for example, 129, that picks up just a tad. And then 633, that is it. The Firefox people, they wanted to know the Firefox. And then 914, see that little pickup there for Chrome. But overall, people just got really upset because they were like, oh, this doesn't actually work anymore. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't work anymore. Sorry, YouTube broke it for real. Some people start with this relative audience retention. And what this will do is it'll say, in comparison to other videos of the same length, how are you doing in comparison to that? So for example, people aren't really watching this intro, but as soon as it hits the Microsoft Edge, there's not a lot of Microsoft Edge users apparently, but they're enough to get this to be a little bit higher in terms of the average that is expected for a video that is 11 minutes. But there's a lot of people who use Firefox. So as soon as we get to the Firefox stuff, it really goes above the average for an 11-minute video. Like YouTube doesn't expect that there'd be as many people percentage-wise watching this part of the video. It would expect more of the time to come from here. And then here at Chrome, there's that as well. And then as soon as people see, I'm just talking about stuff at the end of the video, they leave. Let me jump back here. Yeah, so someone needs to make me a dubstep intro so that all of my people can leave in the first 15 seconds of my video. Hello, Pajama Pants Music. This is everyone should follow Pajama Pants Music if you are not already. True facts. She is an opera singer. So I've already discussed how you become an opera singer on Twitter. So she definitely meets those requirements. So definitely follow her for video game opera music. She's gonna get so many subscribers of people looking for opera music, and they're gonna be like, cool opera, and she's gonna hate me forever. Okay, so let me jump back in for a second. What we have already talked about, and Tom's take, Creator Insider is like this YouTube employer who talks about things that YouTube has been doing, and he wants comments because I think that he kind of forwards it to people in YouTube so they can try to make changes. I don't know how much power he has, so I don't know how much power he can make changes, but he's actually talking to a YouTube analytics person about a lot of the same things that I am. But just to kind of mention the things that we've already mentioned before, my watch time, let me break out of this YouTube meta. And then, so the first thing I said was, you kind of want to make groups for your different types of content. So dang it, I want to, nope, no, not revenue. Nope. Don't show that. I make nothing. I don't make any money whatsoever. Like, don't worry about it. But I don't think it's a problem to show your revenue. I think they just don't like you showing your clicks, your cost per minute, your cost per mil or whatever. But what I wanted to show people was like, my audience retention is garbage. And it keeps on changing, actually. Why is it still changing? 18%, I guess. I must have... Oh, I think I got another day. Oh, interesting. I'm at 18% average watch time. Like, oh, that's so bad. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I so bad at watch time? And then I realized it's because I'm releasing several types of content. So I made these groups. I created a video group, and now you can see these different groups. So I put all of my sax covers in one group, all of my YouTube meta stuff in another, and all these live streams in yet another. So when I do just sax covers, you'll see that my audience retention is 100%. Now, that's also misleading because as we determined, there was one guy on March 8th who is a subscriber who watched 400 who no, on this one day he or she actually watched 1,491% of one video. And the way I was able to see that it was a subscriber was because and I know I have only subscribers. That's why it shows 18%. So what I did was I did a comparison report and I did subscribers versus non-subscribers. Because I was thinking, 14,000, that must be some guy who searched in search and found it and then watched over and over. But it was actually a subscriber who did that. And that's why my subscriber percentage is so high. And the reason I knew that it was a search term was because let me break out of comparisons and then break out of subscribers, was because I did a YouTube search here, and I was showing you guys a quirk about how YouTube does its search thing where it defaults by showing you in terms of watch minutes what are the most popular search terms. So for example, I know that there was one view that led to 4 hours of watch time that was for Sunset Waltz Jazz, which is like, whoever you are, I still want to know who you are because that to me is just crazy. And then again, another view, 1 hour, Final Fantasy 15 Sax. So, and if I did subscription status, it's gonna tell me that yes, a subscriber, that's who did it. It was not non-subscribers. They're only watching around a minute of your content. But we can slice and dice that. And then another thing that I saw for anyone who's just joining us is that in the devices, YouTube is making this big push to say like, oh, all your traffic should be coming from mobile, but like my traffic is 63% desktop and 30% mobile. There was a commenter in the chats who said, well, I usually like to watch from desktop because I like the higher quality of the music. And my suspicion is that most of my subscribers are other music creators who care about quality. And so we watch from our, desktops with our good monitors, with our good headphones, things like that, and not from a phone screen. So what I did was I put on this comparison and I looked at subscribers versus non-subscribers. And I was able to see that, yep, when I do the subscribers is this, here, 79%, 80% is watching from computer and only 17% is watching from mobile phone, and it just decreases from there. Whereas with non-subscribers, 57% of watch time, that's still a majority, it's from computer, and 34%. But the thing is, the people who are watching, who are not subscribers from mobile, they apparently are watching slightly less. They're not getting as much enjoyment from the content. So I'm gonna just go back to the live dashboard. Pajama Pants Music is opera. YouTube is a gold mine. I'm sure that for Carlos that YouTube is a gold mine of cold hard cash, but for other people, it is not. And this is like my second live stream, and I've got no super chat. So if you want to give gold mine of cold hard cash, it's that button in the chat that's right underneath the say something that looks like a dollar bill. Apparently you can't give money if you're on certain mobile devices, but I just looked at the analytics and I know that most of you people are not using mobile, so no excuses. No, I'm not. I'm kidding. You don't have to get anything. I don't really care about anything like that. I have a good day job, so it would be nice, but whatever. YouTube has not been a gold mine of cold hard cash, so that's all I wanted to say. So let's see. What else was I gonna do with this? The thing I was going to say is if you go into some of these engagement reports, you will see some you again, it'll show your comparison, but it won't have the same comparison things as the watch time. So for example, it won't show me search it won't show me subscribers versus non-subscribers for my subscriber report because of course all your subscribers should be subscribed. Like that's how it works. So that didn't really make any sense. When I go into likes and dislikes, I can actually do subscribers versus non-subscribers here. So I can see that my subscribers, uh, they like me. I mean, I guess they like me. But since non-subscribers overall are more of my watch time, remember, they like me even more than my subscribers. But they also dislike me a little bit more. Whereas the people who thought they disliked me as my subscriber, they just quickly decided that that was a lie. That was an error. They really actually do like me after all. Let me go back to important things. We determined that based off of a gender analysis, in terms of subscribers versus non-subscribers, that Terrace music and Pajama Pants music are like they're watching so much of my content, and it's amazing because here they are, 40%. It's amazing. 40% of subscribed watch time. That is incredible to me. The reason that my overall skews so male is because of the non-subscribers. Yeah, I think everyone should check that because that's really interesting. Like, we're all used to like YouTube is like, oh, sausage fest, whatever. But like you can see these differences by subscribers, by non-subscribers, that sort of thing. And we can also look by video as we did before to see that no, I didn't want to do it. I want to do it like this, I think. Yeah, I don't really care about that. I wanted to look at this bottom part actually. That for example, Undertale is very egalitarian, right? Pokemon Sun and Moon, Lily's theme. I really don't know what kind of conclusion to draw that 92% of my subscribers are watching Pokemon Sun and Moon that are male. Like, I don't know what to like. What does that mean? Does that just mean that Pokemon gamers are male, or that what? I don't know what that means. And the same thing for the live stream, 97% dudes. But like, oh, now check this out. Check this out. My top video from subscribers, Valsti Fantastica, 80%. So do you know what this tells me, guys? You know what this tells me, guys? I'm gonna be really honest. We know this was the video that had that spike because someone watched the video for like 1,400,000% or whatever. And that person was a woman. See, I'm sleuthing. I am sleuthing. I am figuring you out. I will discover who you are, and I will find out who you are and what you did. Yeah, so women watch, apparently they go back and they watch things for hours and hours on in the same song, and that is very, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna figure out who it is, and then you're gonna be like my favorite fan because that is like this one person skew, like it has to be a one person who watched the video for 14, like for how long was it? For like 4 hours, 17 minutes or something like that. And that one person turned the entire demographic for this song in terms of watch minutes to 80% female, 20% male, whereas in terms of non-subscribers, it's 70% male. It's like flipped. Like, who does that? Like, who is this? Like, you'll like be like, I'll put you on my banner or something. I don't know. Mole Mania, not getting a whole lot of watch time, but 100% of people who are watching that on my channel are dudes. So I'll need to come up with a funny joke about that. Well, actually, so what's interesting is Lily's theme, it's number 2 for subscribers, 92%, 8%. But even with non-subscribers, it's much lower on the list, but it's still 94%, 6%. So I don't know if that means that Pokemon Sun and Moon fans are just all dudes, or if I don't want to judge anything about people's like, but it's a theme of a little girl who doesn't want to see anyone get hurt. That's all I'm gonna say. My Pokemon or my Harvest Moon Back to Nature, 90%, 10%. Like, there are definitely some. Katrina's theme, another woman's theme, strong, independent woman who don't need no man. 96% men listening to that, and then here check 80%, 20%, where 80% were women. But for my other Final Fantasy, it's 91%, 9% dudes. So when you're careening into danger, that's the testosterone, right? Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. So I'm gonna need to do more. Civ 6, apparently it's all guy gamers. Harvest Moon 64, all guys. Chrono Trigger, all dudes. Undertale definitely has more balance, but still, I mean, 34% is not that high, you know. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I think though that what we're seeing though is a lot of these niche series like Undertale, very interesting that Steven Universe is so strongly male. I would expect it to be more even, but Undertale, Homestuck, they tend to be a little bit fairer than the other ones. Like they're not in the 90-10 range. So let me check for comments. Yeah, so Pajama Pants set music has confirmed Undertale covers about half and half, but everything else is 10 to 15% women. Uh, yeah, that's I do not know how that works. Then I think I just need to get a bunch of uh uh like K-pop men to sing the Mystic Messenger theme, whatever. Which, by the way, I don't want to like judge people, but Mystic Messenger, the plot of that game, ladies, stay safe. Like, if some random guy meets you in a chat room and the first thing he's like is, "Oh, meet me up," and you don't even know this for like, don't meet him up. Like, don't do that. Like, that's not safe. Like, I wouldn't even do that. Like, no, don't do that. Mystic Messenger, I don't know. That game just sounds like, trouble asking to happen, but that's not what this presentation is about. This presentation is about YouTube tips, not about life tips. Um, Actually, I think that I don't really have that much else to say. This is all I wanted to really say. I think I just want to throw in another another plug for the YouTube creator community. www.youtube-creatorcommunity.com. There's a lot of some of the basic questions in this tips and tricks and general discussion. So it's like a lot of people who don't really know all about YouTube asking the same sorts of things. So those aren't really the special things, but the things that I would say are really interesting I think about this are the community news. They'll usually have a YouTube employee who will provide news whenever stuff is happening in YouTube. So for example, uh mobile live streaming, they said whenever that was going to more people, cards and end screens, although everyone knows about that now. Community, like whenever there's new stuff, that'll be there. And the other thing I said was important about this is there's an events lounge, and the events lounge feature YouTube employees who will do ask me anythings. There's a lot of India specific ones, but there's a lot of stuff like the one that they're going to be doing on March 29th. Partner manager from the content partnerships team, and it's going to be driving engagement. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to be like, oh, you should use cards and in cards to get follow on views and stuff that we already know. But I always at least try to ask a few questions to see if there's anything different. That's why, for example, we did not know if you watch a video at 2x speed, do you only get half the watch time or you get twice the watch time? And no one knew about this. And we were like, do we need to do an elaborate experiment to figure this out? Like, do we need to have one person from some weird country like watch an unlisted video at 2x speed and see how it gets reported and watch them? Like, how do we need to do that? But by asking in their AMA, recent AMA on where did it go? On watch time reports, I just put that as a question, say, hey, everyone's been wondering about this, like what is the solution there? And it was a quick one sentence answer. If someone's watching for 2x watch time, you get the full time. Let me find that answer so you know that I didn't just make that up. If someone watches a 10-minute video at 2x speed, you will get 10 minutes of watch time. This is from a YouTube employee. This is not from me. So that's real stuff, guys. So I would definitely say I always try to ask people in the Discord about any questions that they have, but it would definitely I would definitely recommend signing up if you just kind of want to uh, do things like that. There is a requirement where you need to have like 100 subscribers to be able to comment because they used to have so many spam posts. They still do have spam posts from people who have 100 subscribers, but it's a little bit better. So just kind of take it with a grain of salt. So if that is it, then what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to sign off now. So I mean I think that an hour and 20 minutes is a pretty good time for a stream. Thanks everyone for joining. This is going to go up the entire stream. If you didn't see the entire thing, it's going to go up on as an archive. In fact, let me change this not music category, but I guess people and blogs, I guess. I don't know. And privacy will be public. So thank you all for joining. You can watch the full live stream. I will try probably to pick some highlights in terms of timestamps so you can kind of go through. I don't think I can add them directly to the video because I don't think I can edit live streams. But thanks so much for joining this, and I hope that it helped. So with that, I will be signing off. Thanks.